is Dublin's Q102. It's Mornings with Liam and V. Yes, 20 years is all you can't leave behind. 40 years since Boy. Definitely worth marking. Who better to do so than Pat Carty from Hot Press? Good morning.
Good morning, Liam. Good morning, Nicola. Hello, Dublin. How you doing?
You on stage in your mind there?
Channeling Bono there.
You just played that song there, which I think was one of our greatest songs. So that's a good start.
Yeah, and funny because I was just thinking that 20 years between those two albums, I mean, they're very different albums, but really great ways of sort of demonstrating how they progressed over the years.
Yeah, they are. I mean, yes, obviously on the surface there's differences, but if you pick up the new Hot Press, Liam, you'll find me trying to find connections between those two albums, and just, I don't want to bring anyone down, but just that song there we know was about Michael Hutchins, about him passing away. There's another song about on that album called Kite, about Bono's dad, and then that links back to Boy, and there was some grief about Bono's mother and all that. But anyway, I won't reveal it all because, as I say, that's all in today's Hot Press. But people go to shop.hotpress.com and pick up right now.
Okay, right. Plug out of the way, sorted. Boy as an album, I mean, it's, when you look back, it's not the one that produced an awful lot of hits for them, but it was very much the one that made the world go, oh.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite a success, really, relatively, I suppose, when you think about it. I mean, I've talked. You and I are of a similar age, Liam. Although I was a bit young now for it to have an effect at the time, but I've had listened back to it a lot, especially lately, and it's a really powerful record. I mean, it's very cohesive for a debut. It's very assured. I would say it's the best of their early records, until you get to maybe Unforgettable Fire. I think is the next really great one, but and. The band also, if you go and see them now, and certainly the last couple of tours, they still play an awful lot of songs from it. So whatever people think about it, it obviously means an awful lot to the band themselves. Yeah,
you're right about it being a very cohesive. It was a very strong way to sort of arrive on the scene and make a statement.
Yeah, I mean, from even the cover is very stark and very memorable. The production of it, Steve Lillywhite, who was a successful producer already at the time, came in and took over from the people who were there before. And there's a huge difference, I think, in the sound of the album itself as opposed to the first couple of singles that came before it. So I've talked to people who were at those, there's the famous Dandelion Market gig that about 20 million people claimed they were at.
Yes.
Maybe there was 200 people at it.
Yeah.
But I've talked to people who are at that, and an awful lot of them say, oh yeah, we had an idea that this was the band, that they were even different from other Dublin bands at the time, that they really had something special. Now, I've talked to people who were at those gigs and said, I don't know, I couldn't see it, so who knows? But
that's pure Dublin, isn't it? Oh no.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Who even are they?
I think it was about 84, possibly the first time I saw them. I'm trying to remember where and when it was. But it was about 84, because I'm not quite as old as you think I am, Pat. Thanks.
No, sorry, Liam. I didn't mean to. No, I'll play top trumps with you. If you say 84, I think it was 87, so I'm still younger than you.
Okay, fair enough.
Mine was Slain, just so you know. And that was in the 2000s.
Oh, Nicola, for God's sake, I was married with kids at that time.
So, but there was an energy about them, even in the early 80s, that you just knew that there was something fairly special.
Yeah, well, I mean, like as I mentioned Steve Lillywhite, and I interviewed him last week, and I was asking him what made him want to work with the band, and he said even in 1979, 1980 that it was seeing them live. He was brought to some show in the west of Ireland. It was the first time he saw them. It may even have been, he said he was picked up at the airport by Paul McGuinness, and because it was 1979, 1980, he said now that he was expecting some fellow with straw sticking out of his hair and driving a tractor, because that's what he thought was going to happen. And then Paul McGuinness met him, and Paul had this Trinity accent, so he felt a bit better when that happened. But they drove into the west of Ireland, and Paul was playing them demos on the car stereo, and he thought they were all awful. But when he got to see the band, that was when he made up his mind. He said, they opened with I Will Follow, and he knew straight away, so I want to work with these lads. So it was live even then, they're known as a live band, but even back then, they had that something, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Are you worried about these reports that they may not tour again?
Well, I saw that thing yesterday. I mean, who knows when anybody will tour again?
Yeah.
That's what I'm more worried about, to be honest.
This is true.
I mean, I would hope... I'm sure, they're okay. I'd say they have a few bob in the bank. I'd say they're all right. I'd say they're able to ride this out this period out as well as anybody.
Yes.
But, I'm just hoping gigs come back full stop.
Absolutely.
Because, I'll be honest with you, I'm getting tired of drifting between my sitting room and my kitchen and looking out the window. I'm getting a bit. And the houseplants are sick of me, so I need someone new to talk to.
I saw somebody suggesting if you want the concert experience, stick a concert on your TV and go and stand at the bottom of the garden and watch.
well, that's the thing. I mean, and fair play to musicians. I know they're doing a lot of live stuff on streaming on, but everybody knows it's not quite the same thing.
It's not. No. And any of the musicians I've talked to have said the same thing. Like it's grand sitting there and playing the songs, but you don't get the feedback from the audience. It doesn't feel like a gig. You're doing it to keep yourself busy.
Well, there's the other side of that, of course. Nobody's spilling beer on me unless I spill it on myself, and there's not a big queue for the bathroom.
There's good things.
Well, so that's pretty good as well. And I don't have far to go to get to bed when I've had too much of that beer either. So it swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts, yes. But so you've got a lovely bit in Hot Press today about the U2, the progress from 40 years ago right up to modern times, as it were.
Well, I tell you what, let me do a bit of housekeeping then I'll say about this. First of all, it's a U2 special. It's U2 800020. So we cover both anniversaries. We have Boy and All That You Can't Leave Behind, which is 20 years old this month as well. I interviewed Steve Lillywhite. I interviewed Sean McGrath, who's the designer behind U2 and also the designer behind the stamps that came out from On Post last week. Nice interview with him. As I say, a think piece, how about that tries to link Boy and All That You Can't Leave Behind. And if you're not a U2 fan, there's more stuff. I talked to Robert Harris, the author. I talked to the Mali band Songhai Blues. I reviewed the new Springsteen album, which I know you're excited about, Liam, which is a fantastic record altogether. Elvis Costello. Let me see. I reviewed Kevin Barry, Roddy Doyle. I'm flat out.
Well, listen.
People, as I say, did I mention, that people can go to shop.hotpress.com and pick that up right now, because your news agent might be at home as well.
You might have. Pat, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Listen, thanks a million for having us, folks. Appreciate it as always.
Cheers. Look after yourself.
Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Folks, thanks.
Cheers. Bye-bye. It's 8:45 from Dublin's Q102.
Your feel-good 9 to 5 workday with Andy Preston. There you are. Face it.